What's up, Daddy Yo and jazz ladies out there? This is your boy, Satchel Armstrong, broadcasting live from the cabaret in the sky. And when I'm not busy doing my soloing on my two horn, I just tune in to the Artivist presents We All Be News and Radio. Oh, yeah.
We All Be News and Radio is honored to have on Sister Charmeal Alexander, a very proud descendant of the late, great Tom Lee. Are you there, Sister Alexander?
Yes, sir, I am. Thank you for this call, too. I do appreciate this opportunity.
No problem. It's an honor to have you with us. And we just like to break it down for our listeners. Who was Tom Lee, and why should he be remembered?
Tom Lee was my great-uncle on my father's side, which is from Herbert James Neely, who has also passed. And Tom Lee, in 1925, in Memphis, Tennessee, saved 32 people who had drowned, were actually drowning in the Mississippi River. There was a boat called the M.E. Norman that was conjoining the riverbanks that was a part of the U.S. Corps of Engineers, and they had their families and different people along in the ride that were touring the channel. And the boat capsized, and some 74 people were in the Mississippi River. So Tom Lee was on his way home in a motorized boat that was named the Zev, and he saw these people in the water panicking from almost drowning, and he turned around without any thought and went to save one person at a time. He basically pulled four people at a time in his boat and took them to shore, and went back until he totaled up to about 32, and then he basically left. And left the people there, like, wondering who was this man that just saved our lives. And he went home, and then the next day, the commercial appeal and different people from the community, the gentleman of Crump Boulevard, and several other people went over to Hope, Arkansas, where it was then Hope, Arkansas, and found him and brought him back to Memphis. And from there, history began. Exactly. And from there, he, for years and years and years, they all, donated money to him for different things for his services for his family, which was they gave him a home. And his home is now at 923 Mansfield, which is in the Klondike community. And we are actually trying to and hoping to make that a landmark. And with the City Council and with the Klondike Community Organization, hopefully we can make that happen. So as I got older, my family and I, our generation, we basically delved more into the history of our ancestor, and we decided that, we wanted to make him more prevalent in the community of today and for our children that will be growing up in the city of Memphis. The reason why, because in 1952, when Tom Lee passed, he passed of cancer, and he was given an obelisk. And the obelisk is currently still there in his park, at Tom Lee Park on Riverside Drive. And the obelisk stated that he was a very worthy Negro, which at the time he was, and even today he still is. But exactly. But at the same time, we did not want our children to grow up looking at their ancestors being a very worthy Negro without a facial impression of him. So we, from 1998 till 2006, we campaigned the family, not as an organization or company, and we reached out to the RDC, which is the Riverfront Development Corporation, and the president, Benny Linderman, and the city council, Barbara Swearinger-Ware, and several other council members. We all came together, and they started a project which would create a new obelisk or statue, as I might say, for Tom Lee. which is now there, and it's absolutely breathtaking. It's 13 feet high, and it has a depiction of him saving a gentleman who's holding onto some bark or some sort, driftwood, and he's reaching out, pulling him into his boat. So I definitely recommend anyone and everyone to take a look at that, because not only does he represent our family, but he represents the city of Memphis as far as saying, yes, there are people that care. And then there are people who still care today, because, you have people who actually stop and read that, his history, and say, I could do something like this for someone. It doesn't have to be saving lives in the Mississippi River, but particularly saving lives. And I believe he has touched a lot of people.
I found amazing the fact that this guy was able to save 32 people out of the Mississippi River, which is known for its mighty current. And he couldn't swim.
Absolutely, and thank you for that. That is so true. And didn't even hesitate to know that his life was in jeopardy as well, which is why he used his common sense and and saved 4 at a time, as opposed to filling the boat and people tugging on the boat or whatever, bringing everyone down. He, like I said, went back and forth. So that's absolutely right. He did not know how to swim.
It was like how many people out of 32 survived out of how many people?
Well, actually, it was 74 people in the on the boat that day. 32 was saved by Tom Lee. 19 saved themselves, and the others perished.
Oh wow, that's an incredible story. And I like to talk about Memphis is the South. I mean, this is like Tennessee was the first state to return to the Union after the Civil War, but was the last to leave it. And it's got a lot of racial undertones. But the fact that here was a black man who saved 32 white people.
Exactly.
In 1925, in
1925, exactly. Check the papers. It's actually in the Memphis Library on Union. The newspaper articles are still there for public viewing, and you will see from May the 9th of 1925 up until maybe around November that same year, he was in the paper almost every day.
Oh, wow.
Almost every day. And then they went as far as sending him to the White House in Washington, D.C. to meet the president then, Calvin Coolidge. So there is actually a picture there with him on the White House lawn with Calvin Coolidge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let me ask you this. Did he leave anything behind as far as a narrative or diary or journal?
Well, actually, nothing was left behind as far as his any type of memories or maybe furniture or something. He was a very simple man, and the home that he had, which is still there, they furnished it. Him and his wife, Margaret, was the only one there were no children.
Mm-hmm.
And when every year, the U.S. Corps of Engineers would send him a present and supply him whatever he needed for the holidays. And once he passed, there was like nothing, there was momentum to, leave, because he didn't really think he did anything so great. And he was quoted saying, he did what any sensible person would do. So, at least he was like, wow, Yeah.
That would get to my other question, what type of, his recollection, your relatives, how did they recall Mr. Lee? I mean, it's like he was a very humble guy, a very nice and cordial type person. I mean, what is the testament of the people in your family as well as outside the family of Mr. Lee, the person?
Well, I have to say that my family, the men in the family, Terry Watts, Bill Watts are very known in the community, in different sectors of the community. The family houses on Fernwood, they have also done a lot of things for the community. They are coaches of football teams for the children. The family has great baseball games just with the family. And, we hold this up high. You really can't get around it because so many men, sorry about that, so many men of the family, they look like them. So you can't really get away from them. And everyone, they're very adamant about making sure that they do their things in the community as well. We have Terry, who's potentially just going to run for city council because he wants to see great things done for our children of the community, not only just for, individuals who's working and things like that, because we have to invest in our kids as well, which is why we wanted to make sure that his statue depicted him and not just a quote-unquote a very worthy Negro.